Good afternoon. Welcome back. It is Tuesday, December 12th, 2023. We are getting in the last few weeks of December here, which of course means not only the end of the year, but the end of this series. But we do have one event that happened on this day. There was I think an F1 race and something else. But the one that really stood out to me was in 1971 at Texas World Speedway at College Station, Texas. Race number 48 of the Winston Cup Grand National Series season. Richard Petty won that race. And they had an amazing 49 cars start the race, but only 23 finished the race, so less than half the field finished. And this brought to the end the long season. This was, of course, prior to 2022, I believe it was 2021. Whenever they started putting dirt on Bristol, this was the last season there was a dirt track race in the Cup schedule. And the last time that the qualifying races at Daytona counted towards the point season total. Now, the qualifying races now do award points to the top 10 finishers, but they do not count as part of the official tour schedule. Now, with that being said, 1972 brought a shorter schedule and the dawn of the modern era of NASCAR. But this was, in a sense, pretty historic race. Richard Petty wins the title, wins the race. End of story, move on. So, on to birthdays today. Excuse me. We're going to start off in 1944. Former ASA champion, veteran, the Bluebird himself, Mr. Bob Senneker. So Bob had a long career in ASA. I was looking for my ASA set and I could not find it. It'll probably pop up 5 minutes after I hit stop on this video. But nonetheless, Bob Senneker, longtime ASA competitor, did run a few Cup races, but didn't have the success in the Cup Series as he did in the ASA. Sticking with Cup Series, born on this day in 1940, sadly passed away in 2020, former NASCAR car owner of the 90s, Mr. Larry Hedrick. Of course, Larry was had several different sponsors. I'll show you something cool in this next card, the 91 Max, because it really stands out. There you see the Larry Hedrick branding, Larry Hedrick Motorsports. But if you zoom out just a little bit, the L and the H look like a 41, which was the car number that he owned. So I thought that was pretty creative, pretty creative branding and marketing. So we have the black and the red 92 Max. And then 93 Mannheim auction sponsored the car. Phil Parsons drove most of the season, had a couple drivers near the end. Then 94 rolled around. They had Joe Nemechek in the car for Rookie of the Year with Meineke sponsorship. 95, 96, of course, they had Craven in the car. 97, they started with Grissom, or 97 was Grissom the whole year. 98, they started with Grissom, then they ended with David Green. Then 99, they started with David Green and ended up having a rotation of drivers. Then 2000, I believe Rick Mast started the year. They had Big Daddy's barbecue sauce. And then that whole fiasco kind of went south. And the team shut their doors. I only remember them having maybe a couple of poles. I think David Green might have had one for them. I know Nemechek had a pole or two for them. They always had fast cars, but they were just always riddled with bad luck. If you remember Craven's horrible crash in the 1996 race at Talladega, and Steve Grissom's crash in the 97 Atlanta race, they always got a lot of bad luck. Ricky Craven did win Rookie of the Year with the team in 1995. Joe Nemechek finished a strong third in Rookie of the Year in 1994. He may have been second, but I'm pretty sure he was third. But outside of that, the team just was a mid-pack team. No doings of their own. It was just a super competitive era. Next birthday, born on this day in 1936. He is the father of a racer and the grandfather of a racer. Spent most of his time racing in the USAC Champ Car division and later become the chief steward for the kart series. Be Mr. Wally Dallenbach. Of course, his son, Wally Dallenbach Jr., and his granddaughter, Kate Dallenbach. So there's his Indy 500 records. Pretty consistent there. And our final birthday of the day, definitely a Hall of Famer no matter where you put him. Born on this day in 1946, a former F1 champion, former kart champion, and a two-time Indianapolis 500 winner, Emerson Fittipaldi. Of course, he came to the kart series in the mid-'80s. Ended up driving for Pat Patrick, won the Indy 500 with him, moved over to Penske, where he won another 500. And then, of course, won a championship. Then ended his career there at Michigan. I believe it was 96 in a crash while driving for Penske. First career kart win came on an oval, Michigan 500 of all places. Then we just kind of have some mostly Team Marlboro cards here. So it's going to be a very split between Penske and Pat Patrick's teams. So I think the 20 car, I think that was still Pat Patrick. Good look at Emo. And this is one of my favorite pictures. And there's a story about this in the 1990 Indy 500 program. Let's see if it says that on the back. It does not. It says the top 10 finishers. But they wanted to have $1 million because he was the first driver to win $1 million in prize money for winning the Indy 500, or his total was over $1 million. So as the story goes with this picture, they wanted $1 million. Of course, I believe those are all $100 bills. But they wanted $1 million just kind of spread all over the car. And they ended up having $1 million, and they said it looked like there was barely enough. So it's actually about $2.5 million in cash that they had on the car for that photo shoot. So I thought that was a super cool photo. There he is with the Penske team. There's another photo. I still believe this is with Patrick. I really can't remember. And a final look at Mo. But that could be with Penske because it does have the Mobil 1 branding and it does say Detroit Diesel. So it's probably with Penske by this time. But anyway, that has been birthdays and events for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. As always, would really appreciate if you hit that like and subscribe button. Make sure you come back each and every day and see what we have to rip or have to talk about, or etc., etc. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.